Alright guys, welcome back to the Football Manager 2018 Into the Future of Scottish Football series, where we advance years into the future and check how each individual team gets on. Now we've covered all the clubs for 5 years into the future, we've now moved into 10, we've done Celtic, next up is Aberdeen. Aberdeen recognised as probably the second best team in the league. They did finish second 3 years in a row, so you would have to argue that they are up there just behind Celtic. But last episode, as you've seen, when we advanced them, the first 4 years they were terrible. Three 5th place finishes and a 7th. So to go from finishing second 3 years in a row, then the next 4 years to get just a 5th place finish at best, it is rather poor. But they did end the episode the last episode with a 3rd place finish in the 5th and final year. So are Aberdeen on the up? Can they change things around? We're about to find out. Still got a 3-star reputation, so they're still stuck there. Average season ticket price is at $377. I believe that's went up. Season ticket holders at 12,719. Again, I believe that's went up as well. And the finances are okay. If you look at the competition, media prediction, so media prediction have Aberdeen all the way down in 6th place now, so you can see how far they've fallen. They went from being second, and now the media only predicts they're going to finish 6th. Will they finish 6th though? We'll find out right now. Vice captain is Scott Wright, captain Grant Jack, and the squad personality is professional, so we'll see how they're getting on. Are they doing a professional job? Let's find out. Alright, so heading into the 6th season, Aberdeen managed to finish 4th, and it looks like they are returning a little bit to their former glory. 71 points, only 1 point behind the Rangers, 7 points behind 2nd place Hearts. Celtic, they're 17 points in front of Aberdeen in 1st, obviously, but you can see they have kind of closed the gap ever so slightly, and they did manage to finish above Hibs, which is relatively good. But there you go, last season, the 5th season they finished 3rd, this season they finished 4th. I know it is 1 place below, but again, it's like consolation, man, consolidating their place in Europe. So they're there and thereabouts, man. At least they're not finishing 5th, 6th, 7th. So they went from 3rd to 4th. It looks like they are on the rise, or they're at least stabilising their current positions in Scottish football. And in terms of European football, it was not bad. They entered in the 3rd qualifying round, and they did get past Levski with a 4-3 aggregate win. So that was decent. Unfortunately, next round, in the 4th qualifying round, the last qualifying round before the official group stage, they got Bordeaux, and their journey was ended there. 2 defeats, losing at Pittodrie and at home, 5-1 in aggregate, and it's going to be another season without Aberdeen being in Europe. I believe the last time Aberdeen qualified for Europe was 2008. Yeah, I think it was. Remember, that was the season they got a draw against Bayern Munich 2-2. Absolutely amazing result. Anyway, the Bedford Cup, they managed to get past Motherwell in the 2nd round, and then Partick Thistle in the quarter-finals, and then beat Hamilton at Hampden 2-1 in the semi. So Aberdeen into a cup final here. What can they do? And they've won it. So Aberdeen winning the Betfred Cup final, along with finishing 4th, and along with getting to the 4th qualifying round of the Europa League. This arguably has to be the best finish they've had, even though, like I said, last year they did finish 3rd. I think they finished 4th and won a cup and advanced to the 4th qualifying round of Europe. I would put that above last season for sure. And let's not forget, still in the Scottish Cup, where they beat Partick Thistle in the 4th round, Hamilton in the 5th round. How far can they go? A draw at Celtic Park in the quarter-finals. Can they beat them at Pittodrie? Unfortunately not. Celtic 3-1 winners. Tom Bradshaw got the goal for Aberdeen, but Frederick Santander and Mauricio Alves gave Celtic the 3 goals. And that ends Aberdeen's run in the Scottish Cup. But I mean, overall, it was very solid, and you can see in the Championship group, managed to get 10 points. Again, getting a draw against Celtic at Celtic Park, which is no easy feat, and beating Hearts and Rangers as well. So very solid, the 2 teams that finished above them. So there you go, and I'd say that's a good season for Aberdeen. 4th in the league, winning the Betfred Cup and advancing decently in the Europa League group stage. Now, can Aberdeen bring in some good players? Can they capitalise on this season and try and improve even more next season? Let's find out. And not many new faces coming into Aberdeen, but you can see the big signing there. Danny Wilson, 1.4 million for Hearts, which I find kind of weird. Rangers let him go on a free. Hearts picked him up on a free, and Aberdeen got roped into paying 1.4 million to Hearts. So I mean, it's a good deal for Hearts. Whether it's a good deal for Aberdeen or not remains to be seen. Depends how they get on in the league. But see, a lot of players here leaving Aberdeen, including Greg Tansey, Richard Keogh. I'm looking at other noticeable names here. Lewis Ross. So you can see a lot of players leaving Aberdeen. Whether it'll make a difference in terms of their squad. Greg Ellis there going to Motherwell for 350k. He appears to have went down in value, so I'm not quite sure what happened to him. He's a regen. We'll not worry about that right now. But yeah, Aberdeen not really making many changes. They have brought in Danny Wilson. Should help them defensively a bit more, but whether I would have paid 1.4 million or not is a different story. But nice to see Aberdeen spending 3 times more than they have brought in through sales. But is that enough to improve them and make them better for success next season? We'll see. I don't think it is, but let's have a look. And it wasn't. Very disappointing. Look at that, man. Going from 4th qualifying for Europe, winning the Betfred Cup, getting to the 4th qualifying stage of Europa League, and then going to finish 7th, getting more defeats than wins. Like, what the fuck happened there? Shocking for Aberdeen. 60 goals for, 51 against. 8 goals against Celtic. Conceded 8 goals against Celtic. Mental. Did score 10 goals against Raith and Morton though, but they were kind of like the whipping boys. Only 2 goals scored against the Old Firm, so that's definitely not good enough. Although I suppose they only played against them in 3 games since they finished in the bottom half of the split, but still not good. 50 points, 7th place. Definitely a season to forget for Aberdeen. And it looks like they're back on the decline. It looks like Danny Wilson wasn't money well spent. In terms of domestic cups and European tournaments, so they seem to do well again. I'm looking at the Europa League, advancing past the 2nd qualifying round comfortably. 7-1 aggregate win over Dundalk. You can see caused them no problems at all. Then Debrecen, who we know are a decent side from Hungary, I believe, and they managed to get past them again very comfortably, 5-1 in aggregate, before coming up against Southampton. And unfortunately, that is where the journey ended against let's be honest, the superior English team. More money, and they just can't really compete with that. So you managed to get a 2-2 draw at home, but unfortunately the damage was done in the first leg, losing 3-1. Even though Aberdeen, they were holding on with 23 minutes to go, it looked like they could have got a 1-1 draw, and if they'd have got that, definitely could have changed the entire tie. Losing in the Betfred Cup quarter-final, against St Johnstone in extra time wasn't good. And look at this in the league here. Holy shit, a run of so many defeats and draws. Like only 1 win in that whole run of games. Look at that, man. That is unbelievable. And surely there was a manager sacking in there somewhere. There has to be. That is crazy. Look at that. I mean, fucking almost a full page with only 1 win. And it was against bloody Hamilton, who are shit. Well, no, Hamilton actually finished 5th. I take that back, I'm lying. They're not shit, but still, it's not good enough in terms of results. And I'm pretty sure that's contributed to Aberdeen finishing 7th. Knocked out the Scottish Cup 5th round against Rangers. Absolutely humped. Goals for Trezeguet, Turo Abbey and Jesse Lingard, giving Rangers the win. Rangers must have a solid team, by the way. It'll be interesting to see when we go on to the Rangers part. But then look at that, the end of the season strong with a shitload of wins. 5 wins out of the last 6, albeit they were against teams from the bottom half of the table. But anyway, there you go. Aberdeen, definitely a shit season, not one to remember. And then we see Jack Ross did in fact leave Aberdeen right around that time, but only picked like 1 win up in about 15 matches, so no surprise to see Jack Ross leave the club before he got sacked, really. 2 years and 343 days into the club, but at least he did get a Betfred Cup victory winners medal, so there you go for Jack Ross. Heading in now to the third season of this episode, 8th season overall, and not what Aberdeen wanted to see. Look at that, 10.5 million. They have, I suppose it's good financially for them, but they've lost all their best players. If you look at that, Lewis Morgan has went to West Ham for 4.3 million, and Sean McBride also going to West Ham for 6, potentially rising to 8.25. And I'm wondering, do Aberdeen have some sort of affiliation with West Ham? Either that or West Ham just want to pile on the misery to Aberdeen. In terms of who they've brought in, I'm looking here, there's not that many noticeable signings. They spent $675k on a guy called Richard Bills. No idea who he is. It looks like a regen 25-year-old Englishman. He's now valued at 5.75 million and he no longer plays for Aberdeen, so bit of a spoiler there, but at least it looked like a good buy from them. Assuming they managed to get a lot more than they paid for him, since he is now valued at 5.75 million. But anyway, there you go, Aberdeen losing Lewis Morgan, losing Sean McBride. I can't see anything more than failure for Aberdeen this season. You can't sell your two best players and, I don't know, expect to improve that much. Let's find out. Well, what the fuck happened here, man? Aberdeen, yes, they did finish fourth, but I think the bigger talking point here is Celtic finished third. Rangers won the league. Jesus Christ, man, what a weird season this is. Hearts, from being solid so long, finished fifth. Shocking season for them, but yeah, Aberdeen, they're the team that we're concentrating on in this episode for the Aberdeen series, and yes, Aberdeen finished fourth. Not great, still 61 points, it's not exactly where they want to be, but at least it's 3 places higher than last season. It is 11 more points and finished above Hearts, and it gets them back into Europe, which means they could probably spend a little amount of money now, so that's good. Still, if you take into consideration they're 20 points behind Hibs, 23 behind Rangers, you know, it's kind of shocking that they're that far off. But yeah, overall, man, it's at least they've moved up the table a bit, and now I think it'll be interesting to see where they go now. But I mean, they seem to be on like a seesaw ride. You can't really draw any conclusions here. Just because they finished fourth doesn't mean they're going to go on and, you know, consult here and have another good finish. They could easily go back down to being seventh, but we'll see how they got on domestically in the cups and in, well, they weren't in Europe, but we'll see how they got on in the domestic cups. Well, that is pretty embarrassing. They didn't even get out the Betfred Cup Group G, so I mean, that is shocking. Got wins against Ayr, Forfar and Cove Rangers, and then a 3-0 pumping against Alloa. How the fuck did they lose 3-0 to Alloa? No idea, but anyway, that defeat must have meant they finished second and didn't qualify as one of the best runner-ups. So, absolutely shocking. The earliest exit I've seen so far for Aberdeen in the Betfred Cup. Managed to advance so into the 5th round of the Scottish Cup with a 2-0 win against Forfar, followed that up by a 1-0 win against Hamilton, before losing to this year's league champions Rangers 2-1 in the Scottish Cup quarter-final. New signing Richard Bills managed to pull one back for them late on, but Alfredo Morales and Facil Alferapolios, what the fuck, try pronouncing that one every day, were enough to get Rangers the 2-1 win. So yeah, man, we'll see how Aberdeen now got on with the signings heading into the 9th season, and can they capitalise and can they improve on this 4th place finish? Well, I mean, I guess they've brought in quite a few players here, to be honest, a shitload of, well, quite a few, man, look at that, they've brought in more than just quite a few, they've brought in a lot of players, albeit not anybody really that noticeable in my opinion. Ethan Hamilton was the highest paid one, they brought in him for 400k, Junior Dumbaya, 300k, Mark Russell, 375k, Aidan Gibson for Rangers. Yeah, so a bunch of players coming in. Robbie McCrory, who's only playing at Hamilton now and valued at 8.75, shocking. I thought he'd have went on to being a better player at this stage of his career. But at least it's positive. They've spent, I wouldn't say it's a decent amount of money, but at least it's something. You know, they're spending something. And then obviously it's, again, selling. They're probably one of the better players. Felmer Chavez to Copenhagen. So hard to predict this upcoming season based on these signings. Will Aberdeen improve on a 4th? Can they get back to 2nd, a position they haven't had since we started this series? Let's find out. No, again, it's massive disappointment for Aberdeen, who are back down in 7th place. They can't even stay in the top half of the table. What is happening to Aberdeen? Why can't they just get back up to being a contender? Like, why can't they challenge the likes of Hearts and Hibs? I know they're financially, Hearts and Hibs are in Edinburgh, bigger city than Aberdeen or whatever, it's the capital, but I just don't understand why Aberdeen are falling into this like mid-table mediocrity kind of deal, whereas Hearts and Hibs are, you know, being seen as always in the European qualification places. I just don't understand. I don't know why Aberdeen are doing so bad again. 52 points is a terrible total. 14 wins, 14 losses. This time they conceded more goals than they scored. 8 conceded against Hearts in 3 games, 7 against Hibs in 3 games. Absolutely shocking. And just not good enough. And looks like they didn't even score against Rangers at all in the entire season. So 3 games against Rangers, not even 1 goal in the league. That's awful. Fucking awful. And it would take a lot here to make up for this bad season. And by a lot, I mean cup wins. I mean qualification for the European group stages. Let's see though if they got any of that. I highly doubt it based on how poor they were in the league. But we'll see. We'll be open-minded. We'll check anyway. For fuck's sake, again, man, it's these English teams coming back to haunt Aberdeen. So you can see, after picking up good aggregate wins against Panios and Dynamo Bucharesti, Aberdeen fall to Stoke in the 4th qualifying round stage. 2-1 away win at, what's Stoke Stadium called again? The Britannia, which was a great result, but they just couldn't finish it at Pittodrie and they lost by 2-0. Ramadan, oh man, what a name that. Imagine letting that guy score again. Really? Ramadan Sobi. Fuck off, Aberdeen. I'm tempted just to quit this whole series after seeing that. I'm disgusted with them, but anyway, let's move on. Scott, how did they do in the Betfred Cup? Doesn't even show that they're in it. Did they not? Wait, did they not even participate? Oh no, they did. I totally missed it. Knocked out by Ayr. That's shocking. So I mean, this looks like it's going to be an awful season. Beat Edinburgh City in the 4th round of the Scottish Cup. Beat Morton in the 5th round before losing to Rangers in the quarter-finals. Definitely a season to forget. So 7th in the league, knocked out of the Betfred Cup at the earliest stage by Rafe, or was it Ayr? Doesn't matter. It was some shit team from the lower leagues, and then losing to Rangers in the Scottish Cup quarter-final. Piss poor for Aberdeen. As we head in now to the 10th and final season, can they end it on a high, show some progress, and actually make it look like they can do something as we head into the next, whether it'll be 15 or 20 years into the future, I haven't decided yet, but let's go and check anyway how they got on. So we head into the 5th season. You can see, again, not spending as much as they've managed to bring in through transfers. It looks like one of their key players over the last few seasons, Tom Bradshaw, is left on a free. Yes, I know he's 34 years old now. He's only valued at 32.5 million, but you wish, 32.5 thousand. But he did seem to be banging in the goals for Aberdeen any time we check. So it's a shame that they've lost him. They lost Richard Bills, that kid that we're talking about. Don't get me wrong, they got more than double they paid for him, but still he's valued at like almost 6 million now. So it looks like Crystal Palace definitely got a good deal there from Aberdeen, and then selling another 2 decent players, Tommy Caffrey, and where's the other one? Aaron Neman to St Johnstone. So I just don't get that. Or St Johnstone at the stage now where they're considered a bigger and better club with more transfer power behind them than Aberdeen. Very strange indeed. Aberdeen's major signings were Will Norris for Celtic, Grant Jack for Dundee, and Seri Pritchard for Fleetwood. Just looking at these signings, I don't have a lot of positivity heading into this 10th season. Let's go and get the misery over with. I don't think Aberdeen's going to do well. At best, I think they can hope to finish maybe just get into the top half, like 5th or 6th. But just from what I've seen here, they don't have the squad capable of challenging. And I was right again. Aberdeen finishing 7th on 51 points, more defeats than wins. It's just piss poor for Aberdeen. I don't see where they go from here. It's very hard to imagine them ever finishing 2nd in this again. But as for now, they're nothing but a mid-table team, and it looks like St Johnstone, I argued, were they considered to be a better team than Aberdeen now, and they finished above them in the league table, so it looks like it. If we have a quick look at St Johnstone, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, look at that. You've got St Johnstone, they've got players that are worth the millions, and Aberdeen, I don't know whether they have that at the moment. We'll have a quick look at the Aberdeen squad. You can see they've got some good players in there. Scott Wright is valued at 6.25 million now. I just don't know why Aberdeen can't really perform to the levels of... I'm not asking them to compete with the Old Firm, but even Hearts and Hibs. I don't see why they can't be there. But as things stand, they're not. And 51 points again, it's a very piss poor total. But what can you do? All I can do is try and invest in the team, actually sign players, spend a bit of money, and hopefully the next update we do, they will have improved by then. But we'll see how they go on in the Betfred Cup, the Scottish Cup, and well, obviously they weren't in Europe, but we'll see domestically if they did any good in this last season. Well, thankfully this time they managed to get past the Betfred Cup group stage, but then they spanked off Hibs in the second round, 4-1. May as well just got knocked out in the group stage if you're going to do that. It's the Scottish Cup. Comfortable wins against Dunfermline, East Kilbride, which is a very easy tie to get in the 5th round, and then a Scottish Cup quarter-final victory against Dundee, moving them into the semis at Hampden, would have lost again to Rangers. I think that's 3 successive seasons where Rangers have knocked Aberdeen out the Scottish Cup, so Rangers fans definitely haven't bragging rights at the moment over their rivals. And they did well in the relegation group playoff. They won 4 of the 5 games, but again, you're against lesser teams, so that is why they're picking up a lot more points there than they did elsewhere during the season. Well, anyway, guys, that is it for Aberdeen. We'll have a quick look at what their current 11 is. So I'd just be interested to see from that last season. So there you go. Will Norris, Stuart Moore, Toby Civic, Chris Hamilton, Mark Russell, Dom Thomas, Ethan Hamilton, Douglas King, Scott Wright, who's obviously the key man, who had their best average rating that season, and Aidan Gibson and Junior Doumbia. So yeah, there you go. I mean, Scott Wright, I think Aberdeen have to keep him if they're going to do any good heading into the future. He's probably going to be a key man for them. He's got 10 caps for Scotland, 3 goals. Whether he will stay at Aberdeen remains to be seen. But he's stayed at them so far his entire career in Football Manager, so who knows. But Aberdeen definitely need to do something, or else they risk never, never being up the top challenging again. Who knows, maybe even another 5 years they could get worse and they could be in relegation battles. I know it might seem far-fetched to say that, but at the moment they seem to be just stuck in mid-table, and if they keep on selling players and not replacing them, then they could easily find themselves down the bottom. It'll be interesting to see then how it all plays out. Next time I'll either be doing 15 or 20 years, haven't decided yet. I think I might do 20 years to make it more interesting. Well, then we'll advance 10 years into the future, and it'll give us a bigger, a wider view of how things are happening. But anyway, guys, there you go. Aberdeen, 10 years into the future of Scottish football. I'd love to say it's been successful for them, for Aberdeen fans, but it hasn't. So in total, 10 years, and all they have is 1 third place finish. Not good enough in 1 Betfred Cup win. It's just not good enough. And complained about Derek McInn's, but I bet you'd pray for Derek McInn's back. You'd suck his dick now to get him back, wouldn't you? Anyway, till next time. Peace.